My name is Ryan O'Donnell. And we'll go ahead and welcome you all to today's webinar as a part of our quick hit series. This is going to be our latest installment. We'll be doing another one of our quick 15-minute deep dives into some current hiring trends and some research that we've been doing here at Hirology. If we haven't met yet, my name is Ryan O'Donnell. I was the CEO and co-founder of Employ Us, now a part of Hirology, powering our referrals product. And for this series, we're going to be diving into a little bit more about a recent survey that we did of more than 6,000 job seekers in 2022. So the goal is really just to get in the minds of applicants and offer some advice of what you can do to meet their expectations and make sure that you get your fair share of the candidates out there. So thank you all so much for joining. It looks like we've got a steady amount of people in here. I'll just do a quick welcome here. Bob, thank you so much for joining, calling in from Canada, as well as Darren. Thank you all so much. It's great having you all. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A. We will be reserving some time at the end of today's session to go through some of those Q&A as well. So with that, let's go ahead and dig on in. So this week's featured stat is all about employee referrals. When we asked respondents where they found most recent jobs, of course, job boards topped the list in terms of where they are searching at 35%. But the next most common source was employee referrals at 20%. So while it's always important to have a presence on the job boards, what we know is those sites can get very crowded, can be very expensive to compete and get your job ads to appear on the first page. But what we saw was that referrals offer quite a bit of potential that you can do with relatively smaller budgets. And in general, the reason why we focus so much on referrals is the quality of a referral compared to the quality of a candidate that you might find on a job board. So in addition to our applicant survey data, we dug a little bit deeper into our own database here at Hirology to see if there were any trends about the quality of a referral applicant compared to non-referrals. And what we found was that 38% of referred applicants are meet some of the qualifications for the job and are advanced to candidates by our users. Whereas only 17% of non-referred applicants become candidates. So, what this really shows us is that, our hiring managers using Hirology are advancing candidates who are referred, that they are twice as likely to be considered for a job as opposed to a non-referral. As you dig in a little bit more and you look at applicant to hire ratios, the gap between referrals and non-referrals gets even higher. Nearly 11% of all referrals among Hirology customers become hires. Compare that to the next highest source, which is Indeed, at only 2.5%. So that means that referral applicants are about 4 times more likely to get hired as a non-referral. So if you're seeing a lot more applicants coming in from job boards, these may not necessarily be high quality candidates that you're going to necessarily be able to work all the way through the hiring process. And then it becomes a huge kind of quality versus quantity debate. And here at Hirology, we always believe that you should put your money and your resources to your best performing sources. And that doesn't necessarily mean your highest performing in terms of volume. You also want to be looking for quality sources of candidates rather than just making sure you've got a lot of resumes coming in at the top of the funnel. One of the worst things you can do is, have a lot of extra work for your recruiters and hiring managers reviewing unqualified resumes. And, we've all been there when we post jobs and we get candidates that are unqualified. We don't want to spend too much time with those. We want to focus on our best source of candidates. And as you can see here in our data, those candidates overwhelmingly come from referrals. So how do you build a referral program that works? What we've found is that referral programs only can help drive a sustainable amount of your hiring if you have a program that is set up the right way. Some companies have informal programs or programs that are just kind of word of mouth. They might, mention it once a year, or they might have a section in their employee handbook that talks about employee referrals, and, kind of have a hope and wait strategy when it comes to referrals. But we found that with clients that are more intentional about building a high-performing employee referral program, that they can really engage their employees and make the most of it. We know that for our clients, they typically invest a lot in their employer branding with their career sites. They obviously, are investing in job boards. And, we always recommend that you spend just as much time focusing on optimizing your employee referral program to make sure that it's driving a large percentage of all of your hires. So the three big rules that we have when it comes to building your employee referral program is that you want to make sure that you set the right bonus amount, that you communicate it often using the right channels. And then lastly, you want to make participation as easy as possible. So we're going to dig into each of those a little bit here. So for starters, let's talk about setting the right bonus amount. Now, you want to define exactly what you're offering for a referral bonus, as well as the timing of when you will pay that out. Now, sometimes you might offer different amounts for different jobs, depending on what you want to reward your employees with. But what we encourage everyone to do is keep it really simple. You want to have a referral program that's memorable, that's easy for employees to talk about and share, and also for them to know why they should participate and tell their friends about jobs at your company. We've put together some guidelines here of what we're seeing in the industry in terms of what different companies are offering for referral bonuses. Typically you'll see that the amount equates how hard it is to fill a job. So obviously for, either part-time or seasonal or hourly workers, you may find that you're offering a smaller amount, like $25 to $150 in the form of cash or a gift card. That might work really well if you're in, a hospitality space or retail. Those types of incentives can be paid out very quickly, after someone starts working or works, for their first month, for example. Whereas if you're recruiting for more salaried full-time or skilled roles, you might offer rewards ranging anything between $500 to $2,000. You can see some of the examples there. That might be for more corporate type positions or harder to fill roles like nurses or technicians. Or typically, you don't see people offering that kind of money in the form of a gift card. Typically, that's going to be a cash amount. And then you see sometimes that some companies will offer enhanced bonuses for especially hard to fill roles. These are areas where the alternative might be hiring a recruiting agency where you'd be paying 20% of someone's salary. And we've seen bonuses for those roles go up anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000. Now, if some of those numbers seem high to you, remember that getting the right person in the seat is well worth the cost. The longer a revenue driving seat stays open in your organization, the more money that you're missing out on. Plus, if you take a look at the actual cost per hire, when you compare posting at a lot of job boards where you're getting applicants who may not necessarily convert into a hire, some of those dollars are being thrown away, versus with a referral bonus, you're only paying it out if someone actually gets hired, and for most companies stays working anywhere between 30 and 90 days. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, where you can get some of the volume and a price point of posting a job on a job board, with some of the guarantees that you might find if you go work with a recruiting agency and you pay a percent of someone's salary, and you might have some guarantees associated with that. But instead of paying, $15,000 or $20,000 with a recruiting agency, you could pay about 1/10 of that amount by offering a referral bonus to your employees. And ultimately, that's another perk that you can offer to your employees to keep them incentivized to stay at your organization, as opposed to paying an outside vendor. When it comes time for paying out bonuses and what's the schedule, it might seem like a no-brainer, pay someone as soon as you make a hire, but that isn't always the recommended approach. Sometimes for certain roles, you might pay out as soon as someone works 40 hours. Most customers pay out within 90 days. If you're waiting 6 to 12 months for paying out a referral bonus, we typically see that impact the participation in the program, because the team might not necessarily be able to see that reward be nearly as tangible if they have to wait like a whole year in order to get a couple $100. It would be much better for you to offer a smaller reward sooner in order to get a higher amount of participation. But in either event, it's very much up to each company to offer what makes sense for their organization. If you see a lot of employees are only last 30 to 60 days, you might want to make that referral bonus set to 60 or 90. If you know that if an employee stays working and completes, their first week, that they're most likely going to stay employed for a long period of time, then you might set it to be paid out sooner. It really all just depends on what makes sense for your organization and how you can ensure that your referrals are also helping you reach your retention goals as well too. Now, outside of referral bonuses, you have to make sure that you communicate your referral program as well. One thing I see a lot of companies doing is they spend an awful long amount of time trying to build the best program, putting together the perfect policy or getting the program rewards set up correctly. They might be offering large bonuses, $3,000 or $4,000 instead of $1,000 or $2,000. Yet surprisingly, they don't talk about their referral program. So when it comes to promoting your referral program, I recommend everyone follow the rule of 7, which if you haven't heard from a sales and marketing context, means that you typically need to see or hear from a company at least 7 times before you take any action. I don't know if this is actually based in any science, but I do think that rule has some weight. If you think about your everyday life, if you're breaking a bad habit, teaching your kids something new, or even just thinking about upgrading your car or your iPhone, that you usually don't do it the first time you see that brand new car on the lot or you see that first advertisement. You usually need to drive by the lot a few times. You need to see the ad a few times before you start to take action. The same goes when it comes to getting your employees participating in your referral program. They're going to need to hear about the referral program multiple times through multiple channels before it becomes a regular part of their everyday work life. When we think about employee referral programs, it's really all about employee advocacy. So how do you get your employees thinking like a recruiter? How do you get them to be acting as really a brand ambassador out there in the community, encouraging their personal and professional networks to consider applying for jobs at your company? So you want to make sure that they are aware that you're hiring and that you're open to reviewing their referrals. So when it comes to actually promoting the referral program, you can do that a couple of different ways. You can promote it, with flyers, in-person physical signage, like you see here on your left, something that Hennessy Automotive companies did to promote their referral program. They put flyers up at each of their dealerships. But you can also promote your referral program with email, text campaigns, QR codes. If you have, a place where employees have to log in every day, you can have this, bookmarked, in their apps. You can have it in, Slack or Teams. But you want to make sure that there's an easy place for people to submit their referrals. And you can promote it in a lot of different mediums. These are some of the most popular ones. Here at Hireology, we have a weekly all hands meeting. Every Tuesday morning, we talk about our referral program. We highlight a role of the week, and we encourage employees to share that job on social media and submit their referrals. You can also focus on highlighting through internal communications like these. These are some examples of messages that you can send out through a Hireology referrals to promote your referral program, where you can send email or text communication directly to your employees to encourage them to refer their friends. In these communications, you can give them an easy link that they can click to share on social media, or include 3 recently opened jobs on their team or at their location, so that they know what the company is hiring for. So when they hear that a friend is looking, they can easily know exactly who to refer. And it's all about making it easy. So when you see in some of these communications, there's just one link for someone to refer. Some companies, when it comes to their employee referral programs, it's all word of mouth. So it's not very trackable. People might just put down a friend's name on their application, and that's it. And you aren't able to easily track who got hired, or who might be due a referral bonus. And it's hard for HR and recruiting to administer those types of programs. But also we've seen some companies that go really kind of overboard the other way. They have employees print out and fill out paperwork and fax it to a central HR office to submit their referral. They have to print it out, fill out a form, get their manager to sign it, scan it back in so that there's a record trapped in some PDF on someone's computer of their referral. And you've got long email threads. And well, your employees have their own day jobs. They're obviously not spending all day long trying to figure out how to submit a referral. It's not a part of their job description. So if you're asking someone to do something that's not a part of their job description, you want to make it as easy as possible so they can knock it out and then get back to their day job. So it's all about making it really easy to participate in the referral program. So when it comes time for simplifying how your employees can participate, we recommend that you don't require anyone to download any apps or require them to log into anything. We encourage people to have an easy submission process on their phones and really ask for the bare minimum amount of information. You want an employee to be able to refer someone in less than a minute, so that when you make that ask and an all hands, they can do that and then go ahead and get back to their day. Or if they're out with their friends and their friend asks them for help getting in touch with your company, you want to be able to refer very quickly so they can, get back to their day and, not miss out on that referral because, an app didn't work or they had to go home and print something out, things like that. If you are forced to do too much work, you'll ultimately see that your referrals will go down. So we really just encourage you to make it as easy as possible. What that looks like in showing you some of these communications is you can easily click on those buttons or a link in a text message or scan a QR code. And in Hirology Referrals, we have built out a chatbot that makes it really easy for an employee to submit a referral. The chatbot will ask them who they're referring. It'll ask them why they're recommending them, collect all the information. And then all they have to do to submit a referral is provide their friend's email or phone number. And then our system takes care of the rest. So for an employee, they can easily submit a referral in less than a minute directly on their phone. They don't have to log into anything. They don't have to download anything. They don't have to print out anything or track down their friend's resume. It literally as simple as basically texting your friend a link to a job. So we try to make it as easy as possible for people to refer. That way your employees will actually take those steps to share your jobs and refer their friends. So in summary, that's all that I've got for you today, and just wanted to go through a quick overview of what we covered today. What we found in our most recent applicant survey is that referrals are one of the #1 ways how people actually find their next job. Even if they don't start their job search with a referral, they typically get their job through a referral. We know that they are 4 times more likely to get hired compared to candidates from other sources. And referral programs can really yield some great results if they're done correctly. It takes a little bit of upfront work. You want to make sure that you set the right referral bonus amounts. You have a plan to communicate your referral program internally, often to the right groups and right channels. You want to make sure that you've got an easy way for employees to participate, whether that be through some internal forms or using a tool like Hirology Referrals to easily collect referrals from your employees and track them through the process. So with that, I just want to say thank you all so much for tuning in today. Like I said, if we have any questions, we can answer those here. We've got a couple minutes, but otherwise, that's everything that we wanted to cover today. If you want to learn more about Hireology referrals or the rest of our recruiting products, feel free to go onto our website to learn more. And if you haven't already seen any of our other research, that's also available there as well.